The following is a presentation of the Nerd Complex Podcast Network.
You are listening to Audio Suplex Live. Hello.
Corey didn't even
Ajax
know.
is out of the shot. That's
yeah,
all right.
It's because I'm big out here.
He can always
You can slide in with me, man.
I don't fit in the frame. Look at the gun, though.
that.
That's all they need to see.
Corey wasn't even aware that his beloved Jacksonville Blake Bortles were facing the Philadelphia Eagles this week. I want to give you the final update.
Did they start Blake Bortles today? I know they pulled him last week. What's the score? 24-18? Did we lose?
That's the final. Yep. 24-18 Eagles.
Damn, yes.
The NFC East is still wide open, boys.
The Jags
And
look
even if
so
they don't,
good.
doesn't matter. Still win a Super Bowl.
Still barely fit. But
Was
we're
that-
good. No.
Hey, man.
You finally did it.
W is W.
Hello and welcome to episode 52? 52.
52.
We made it. More than 52 episodes, but
That's one for every week of a year.
and we've been doing this for more than a year.
Yeah, I know. Well, because we've alternated different schedules before. We used to do
We used to do it every week.
every Thursday, then it went to every other, then it went to every Sunday, then it went to every other Sunday, and now it's gone to
Just when there's a
Yeah,
pay-per-view.
when there's a pay-per-view or
Maybe.
some major event. And we basically, to the point of this, we got to wrestling where we couldn't ignore doing a podcast anymore. Like, we're like, oh shit, there's a lot of stuff going on we have to talk about.
There's a lot of stuff.
We better get in the studio, huh?
Yes,
Yeah.
we have a special guest today, Mr. Chris over
How
here.
y'all doing?
Mr. Chris.
Chris, how you doing, bud?
I am Mr. That is Esquire. If you can throw an Esquire at the end, it
Absolutely.
makes you sound fancier.
I can't do that.
Look,
But
I lied to my bank and told them I was an Esquire. It's on my credit cards now.
really?
Yeah, when I print up my credit card, so there's a little ESQ.
What,
right there
what
at
does
the
that
end.
even mean?
It means either I'm a knight or a lawyer.
It's
Literally
A
those
knight
two things.
or a lawyer?
A
It's
knight's like
Yeah.
or a lawyer.
Which one are you?
Neither.
Oh,
I
which
just
one would
lied
you
to the
rather
bank.
be?
I made a bad joke at the bank and they took me seriously, and now it's on all my paperwork. So.
you like told them jokingly at the bank, like, hey, can you put Esquire on all my stuff?
Well,
And
no,
now
I
you get-
was like, they were like, give me your info, and I was like, Chris Kohlenberg, Esquire, like joking around, like I said it just like that, and like she gave me a giggle, like she got it, and then a week later, my first statement came in the mail, and it was C. Kohlenberg, ESQ, and I opened up my cards in there, and it has the ESQ on the card. I was like,
Oh my
I am
gosh.
taking this ball.
Well, the nice thing about it is
that's
if-
beautiful. That's
Oh,
If
yeah.
something ever happens, you'd be like, that's not me.
But like, bro, I'm not a lawyer or a knight, so you're
That's
after
not me.
somebody
You got the
else.
wrong person.
So you didn't answer the question. Which would you prefer, be a knight or a lawyer?
Can I be both? Can I be a knight lawyer?
Like a knight lawyer?
Like
like a lawyer
I work
that works
at
at night.
court.
Yeah,
What-
night
okay,
court.
Which one is?
I defend
Jesus
minstrels.
Christ. You're charged with charging.
I defend minstrels in the night court
Okay.
with my swinging long arm of lawyer justice.
Yeah. Business is booming.
Hey, I'm making moves in these streets. All right?
Why don't we have our own wrestling promotion? And then why is this not our most over gimmick?
Yeah,
I don't understand.
Night
Well,
lawyer.
we could just start our
Night
own
lawyer.
promotion.
ESQ.
People are doing that.
Oh, hold on.
Night court.
By day he swings a mace. By
It's
night,
Morning Star.
a legal ace.
Oh,
This is Night Lawyer.
Night lawyer. And then you got to
We
follow it
gotta
up.
go.
You got to follow it up with the Law and Order. Dun dun dun.
I'm picturing a scene like where after like a really intense court scene, you like flip up the top visor thing, and you like are puff like chiefing a cigarette, just like I can't believe I let him off the hook, son of a bitch.
That's the last time I let a good man go to the clique.
all right.
Unhooks his horse from the thing and just gets on and rides off.
So yes, I'm Chris, night lawyer.
Night Lawyer.
Night
All
Lawyer's
right,
here.
Chris Esquire, the Night Lawyer.
Chris K. Esquire, the night lawyer. I just came up with my own gimmick.
I like
Oh
it.
man,
It's already over.
I have
already over.
I have no gimmick
I'm
at this
invested.
point. At least
You're 52 weeks in and you have no gimmick.
the gimmicks at this point have just gotten
I got
more
a
and more
gimmick.
ridiculous. We had it started calm with like heel Corey. Like, okay, we get it. He's
Yeah.
Corey and he's a heel.
And I
Then
wear
we
my
got Big
glasses,
Tony
yeah.
Jackson in here flexing all of his
Steaks
peaks for
and
all of his
weights over here.
freaks.
Steaks
And then we
weights.
got oh my god, dude! I need to go hit the creative.
I've
drawing
been
board
here
and-
for a few minutes and I'm already over as the night lawyer, bro.
Well, somebody's got to play the straight man here, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good lord.
You're the guy that has bad taste in professional football teams.
Apparently,
I'm just kidding. The Eagles are all right.
yeah. they're-
Whatever.
I mean, they're.
So today, we're going to talk about WWE Evolution. We're also going to talk about the crowned jewel in Saudi Arabia.
Blistering.
And I'm sure we'll talk about some other stuff as well, right? We're going to talk about Roman. You want to talk about Roman right now?
We'll talk about Roman Reigns. Do we want to do a proper news drop? We haven't done one, just for old time's sakes. We keep Joe on his toes.
Yeah.
There we go.
Oh, there it is.
It's the news.
We haven't done this in a while, Chris. Our news drop is actually.
Well, we never officially said where it's from on the show.
No, we never did.
We're going to do it right
I was
now?
going to see if he knows.
Oh, okay.
Oh, this is a question.
Yeah, this is still like it's been a while
Okay.
since we pulled anybody who's come onto the show. I think this is a fact
it's
known
been-
only between the three of us. Of
You
where
know,
that news
I'm
drop
probably the
comes
wrong
from.
guy to ask. Most of my viewing comes with either really, really crappy B horror movies or internet porn.
Okay,
So
okay.
if it's not before one of those two things, don't know it.
This is from wrestling.
It's from wrestling. It
a
is
news
a
drop that
I would
was
say a ruthless aggression era
yeah.
kind of post attitude, pre ruthless aggression in that little gray area of like
All right.
2000 and
Before they had a title.
Nah,
Later.
2004 or 5 maybe.
Yeah, Ruthless Aggression was more of like 4.
06.
Now, see, we were talking before. There was a little area before you got here. Corey and I were talking that where I had kind of checked out of wrestling for like a couple of years.
Everybody has it. Everybody has
Yeah,
it.
a couple years
And
out.
then like I hit the ground running again, but there was like a good couple years where I just checked out and just didn't care.
Well, there's all this hullabaloo that they came out with recently about like Kofi Kingston having like the most like tag team title
Days.
days or whatever, and I'm like half of this stuff I don't remember because he was in a tag team with Evan Bourne at one point. Okay, cool. Like I missed that.
Yep, I didn't watch
era.
that.
Yeah.
Well, I missed a lot of CM Punk. Like I was there when CM Punk was in ECW.
I missed a lot of CM Punk. Too.
and then
That's
I
when
didn't
was-
see anything. And then he was gone, and everybody loved CM Punk, and I don't really have.
I came back right around the time of the pipe bomb promo.
Yeah, I think
So,
that's
like,
probably right around
I didn't
the
even
time.
really realize how big a deal it was when I saw it.
Right.
Yeah.
It's huge now. You go back and watch it, and people are
Well,
still,
now that I know like everything that went down, because obviously when I came back, I hit the ground running and I caught back up and all that stuff. But now knowing what I know, like I realized how big a moment, and I think I had only been watching again for maybe a couple weeks at that point. So it was really just what is his problem?
but that's the beautiful thing about wrestling is wrestling to me is very much, and I think Ajax will agree with this because I know he's a man who also enjoys comic books. Wrestling is kind of like comic books. Yeah, comic books are great because you can like literally jump out whenever you want. If the arc is over and you're kind of like, okay, well, I want to move on to something else, some other form of entertainment. You can move on from that and then come back to it. Wrestling is so cool that you can literally just jump in whenever and just kind of like catch up.
Yeah.
So that's why I love it.
It didn't take me long, it took me a few episodes just to figure out who some of the guys I hadn't seen before were and their gimmicks and who was heel, who was babyface, all that. But it didn't take me long. And then when I got back into it, I really got back into it because at that point, when I was younger, I had never seen any live events or anything. And then I was older and I could afford to go and had a car, and so I started catching live events and all that fun stuff. So I got to see a couple pay-per-views. I always wanted to see a Hell in a Cell. I got to catch Hell in a Cell when it was in Detroit.
Nice.
I was there.
Live events are the best.
I caught the Fast Lane.
Yeah, when that was in Columbus or
that was in
Cleveland.
Where it was Lesnar versus Reigns or something. I forget now, but
Was that one with
it was a 3-way.
Braun, was it?
No, Braun was just coming out at that point. He was still in the Wyatt family.
Okay, so it was Lesnar.
It was before the brand split. I know there was a 3-way because there was a pretty awesome spot where they did a triple suplex.
If anybody's watching the show and wants to comment or whatever like that.
Well,
I know there's probably someone losing their mind, like, why? Dude, that's no idea.
they're
You were
literally-
there and you don't even remember.
They're literally screaming at their screen right now on
Yeah.
Facebook Live, just like, oh, how dare you not know what that match was.
I will say in my defense, though, I watch a lot of indie wrestling too, and stuff from Japan and all that. So like WWE, why I do watch it every week, isn't always also just a primary focus for me. Like I like a lot of the New Japan stuff, like GCW, what they're doing, H2O wrestling, that kind of thing.
So what do you think? Let me ask you this right off the bat then. How do you feel about Pac going back to Dragon Gate? I think it's fantastic.
I think it's great, but there's not a lot of eyes on that promotion. I feel
Yeah,
like he
but
could have
they're-
capitalized a lot better.
I think they need to build it more.
I think him going back there is going to bring more eyes to it.
Yeah, most definitely. And I think Dragon,
if they
there's a lot
promote
of good
it.
stuff going on in Dragon Gate right now that people should be watching.
I like it. I would have liked to see him like debut for a much bigger company.
Yeah.
But I think I like his approach of
I
trying to
think
bring
honestly
eyes to.
he would really fit in well with the landscape of what Impact's doing nowadays.
Oh my God, it would be perfect.
Because Impact's, I don't know if a lot of people have been watching, but Impact's been
Nobody's been watching. That's
Yeah.
the problem with Impact.
But it's
less than
on a
100,000
great-
viewers.
It's been really good lately.
it's been really good lately.
The thing is, it doesn't
Sammy
matter.
Callahan is insane.
He's killing it, and he's
then
got the Chris brothers.
Yep.
Yeah.
Pentagon Junior's been killing it.
Phoenix is over there doing his thing.
They got great
Desmond
lineup,
Xavier,
Johnny Impact.
Johnny Impact. Who
Yeah,
is
you got
absolutely
the talent,
fantastic.
but they need the time slots and the views, though.
Yeah.
And as a business right now, they're not doing it.
I think they're doing a better job of being open to working with, because they realize that with WWE being the big fish in the pond, they're never going to compete with them directly. And I think Impact
Unless
is
you got
now,
that Ted Turner money, there's no doing it.
and,
Right.
and nobody has that anymore,
No.
and nobody has that kind of money.
Even if
that's
they have
willing
the money,
to,
they don't
unless
wanna
it's
dump
like
it into it,
unless
yeah.
it's Shad Khan from the Jacksonville Jaguars.
That's right.
Yeah.
Who apparently wants to besides moving his team to London, wants to open up a wrestling promotion. But like nobody has that money. So if you look at like it's WWE, and then you also have like the number 2 promotion would probably be like New Japan Pro Wrestling by de facto. But even they still work closely with Ring of Honor, and they still work closely. And now they have, one would assume, a working relationship with Impact. So whether you have
They have Impact stars. They have
you got ROH,
they do cross promotions like CZW. They bring a lot of the Ring of Honor guys, and they're sending a lot of their guys over too. I went to a Ring of Honor event up in Michigan, and they had like maybe 15.
New Japan guys.
And they had their own merch booth. Like it was booked as
awesome. I love it.
It was
New
pretty
Japan,
cool.
ROH.
Yeah.
It's a smart way to do it because you get your fans from both sides.
I think wrestling does nothing but strive when promotions work together as opposed to against each other.
Absolutely.
It doesn't need to be a line in the sand.
It's-
If you have a good product,
Well, look at this whole story that they did with All In. Really not.
Yeah.
The All In wasn't branded by any one promotion, really.
No.
It was just
Right.
Cody Rhodes and
they
the
just kind
Bucks
of threw it
wanted
under
to-
the Bullet Club.
Right,
banner.
which is an easy banner to kind of throw it under. But
They work with all promotions.
yeah, like ROH had a heavy hand in that. The NWA had a very heavy hand in that with promoting Cody Rhodes versus Nick Aldis for the NWA 10 Pounds of Gold, and NWA did their own video series on this.
That was a hell of a match too.
We're getting We're getting to a point now in wrestling, which I absolutely love in independent wrestling, where everybody's working together to try to get.
And I think that's
Awareness
actually why there's a big boom in indie wrestling, because it's coming to a point now where because everybody's working together, you can actually make really good money being a awesome indie wrestler. I mean, look, Cody Rhodes is the prime example of that. He was buried on the pre-game show and early card.
He was saddled
with a
down as
bad gimmick.
Stardust. Yeah,
we're just going to give you your brother's
I don't know. He
gimmick.
did get a SummerSlam event with
And
Green Arrow.
It was actually pretty good, though. They just didn't do anything right with it, and that was not any fault of his, though, either.
Well, he went into it wholehearted. You can
Oh,
tell.
yeah.
I mean, he didn't he may not have been happy doing it, but he did his best to
Yeah.
put it over. And that's a silly gimmick to be working with.
Did you guys ever see those shelved vignettes for when they were trying to promote Cody with a like Tony Stark-esque gimmick?
I don't think so.
No.
Oh,
think
it's the coolest shit ever. Like he like kind of comes out in like this. It got scrapped for whatever reason. I think it was supposed to be pre-Stardust, and Stardust is kind of like what they went with as like Plan B. But he had this like Tony Stark-esque gimmick where he came out with like a nice suit, and Brandy was with him, and she was like fixing his tie for him.
So it's almost
and-
kind of what he's doing now.
yeah, kind of. Essentially, yeah. It was kind of like the WWE like style of his gimmick now, where
Yeah.
he's just like, I'm the best thing in professional wrestling. I wear
I mean, all
suits
else fails when you're trying to be a heel and go over be a spoiled rich kid.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's perfect, and it's working out wonderfully for him now. But
So dashing.
he's so dashing. So anyway, from indie wrestling to probably the biggest wrestling news story of the week: Roman Reigns.
Yeah. Wow.
Huge stunner coming out at the opening of Raw, announcing his.
It's not even a retirement. It's just
He
he's
said he
taking a
wasn't.
leave of absence.
Well, what-
to
They're saying
battle
2 or
the
3 years. He'd probably be gone.
What an interesting, like, it's just, I mean, obviously, you want to start with your hearts and thoughts go out to Roman Reigns and
Obviously,
his
yeah.
family.
I
And,
mean, you can say what you want about his gimmick,
Right.
how
you
you
can
feel about
dislike
that,
him all you want.
but the guy is a worker.
yeah. Oh,
He's
absolutely.
at every event. He's wrestling. He's wrestled everybody.
Right.
Just because you may not be over with, he doesn't mean he's not a great worker.
And
put
truly
his time
is
in.
the face of the company, especially especially after this when he comes back and the
He's
adversity
huge.
he's come through and everything like that. Like
He'll finally be over when he comes back. Like the fans will be.
When he comes back, he'll get the biggest pop ever.
Oh yeah.
People will lose their
I mean,
minds.
there's he could be shoved down our throats like they did, but I mean, we still all felt that.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
That's why
because
I
we
teared
know
up a little
Joe.
bit.
We could get behind Joe as a person. Roman Reigns as a character is completely separate.
Right,
Right.
exactly. And that's the beautiful thing. And my biggest thing about this is the outpouring of support from every corner of the wrestling. Like New Japan Pro Wrestling is tweeting out their support.
Yeah, their official Twitter.
Very poignant too, saying something to the effect of,
Champions transcend companies or whatever.
something
Yeah.
like that. Exactly. So, which is a very poignant thing to say. And you have people like Tama Tonga. People are putting kayfabe aside, and they're really everybody's outpouring their support, and it's fantastic. And I think we were kind of talking about this before we went on there. WWE's obviously got a lot of stuff going on their plate right now with
A lot.
Evolution tonight and the build up to that, which we'll talk about, and then the Saudi Arabia situation with Crown Jewel, and
Is that next Friday or Saturday?
I believe it's next week. Yeah.
I think it's Saturday.
I don't
And
know.
out of all the things that they've been dealing with, I personally think that this is one area that they've navigated fairly well. I think they've done a good job handling this and treating this the right way and giving it the due respect that it deserves. And at the same time, and I want to kind of roundtable this before we move on to the next thing, using this as a catapult to launch a storyline out of too, and I think it was handled tastefully with the heel turn finally
Of Dean Ambrose.
Yeah.
So where do you guys fall on this? With the whole Roman announcement, then kind of parlaying that into the heel turn right before Crown Jewel.
I think it was the best way for them to do it. Honestly, if they would have waited, you would have had the people cheer, Dean if he turned heel. It was a very emotional night. So him turning then, the fans are like, why now? Like, come on. So he's going to get that heel heat reaction. Whereas if it was a different night, no emotional intro to the show. Kind of like with Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch turned heel. The fans went nuts. I feel like Dean
It was
Ambrose.
about time for her, though.
Dean Ambrose is on that same kind of level, though.
Yeah.
People really like him, and this was like their one opportunity to where it's perfect for him to get the heel heat, and hopefully it sticks.
And
And
no
I
one
thought-
sees it coming. Yeah.
And I thought it was done tastefully enough that he, there are no real moral ramifications behind it.
Well, look at it in terms of the timing too. It's not like they planned, Joe's leukemia.
Right,
So
right.
the build up was there. Like, where is Dean Ambrose the past several weeks? Where is his head at? What is he going to do? Is he going to go solo and just like leave amicably, or is this going to be a whole lunatic thing, quote unquote, and blow up? So yeah, to touch on that, it's a perfect time to do it because we were so invested. The wind's out of our sails. We're already sad. We're already low key pissed off. Like, this is only going to like actually make us hate Dean even more, especially because we've been seeing it coming. Like, it was the writing was on the wall, but like that's
But it's almost like they hit us with the curveball of the the leukemia thing. So you're more, wow, that happened, and then bam, the final hammer came down, and the nail in the coffin of the shield.
And it makes it real though, and not just a WWE kayfabe real. It makes it real. Like, okay, you just turned on your brother on the night that your brother has to take a leave, and it actually cements it more than a kayfabe thing. Even watching Seth take those hits, talking about like, it's okay. He's like trying to talk to him.
We can figure this out.
We can figure this out. Yeah, and he's getting his ass beat.
Dean's just yelling, "Suck it up, suck it up!"
Get these
pulling the
hands.
mats back.
Exactly.
I just think it's this weird perfect storm where like something terrible outside of WWE's control could line up perfectly with what their plans already were. So it was like perfect planning and perfect, not perfect circumstances. Obviously, you never want to wish that. Yeah,
It didn't feel like something they just threw. Like, okay, this happened with Reigns. Well, what are we gonna do about the Shield?
I think my real thing here that I'm trying to applaud is WWE's, ability to pick their spot perfectly with it.
Yeah.
Even due to the circumstances that they were handed with Roman, like with Joe, and like obviously it goes without saying.
I've been actually really excited for a Dean Ambrose heel turn for a while because he used to wrestle as John Moxley, and John Moxley was a huge heel and did a lot of like hardcore matches and like really intense stuff,
Chainsaw matches.
I saw Brain Damage take a drill to his head or a handsaw to his head at one point.
I've seen that.
But anyway, he worked really well for me as a heel before he was in WWE, and it felt like before his injury for a while, he just became, even when he was champ, like a little bit stagnant. Like,
Well, I mean, there's only so much in like the PG era you can
it's like,
really
we get it,
do
you're
with
crazy.
Like, the lunatic kind of gimmick. Like, there were flashes of brilliance with it. I think when he feuded with Jericho and they did the Ambrose Asylum, that was pretty cool.
Yeah. And I feel like they could still use that idea If executed better.
His
like
feud
the
with-
idea of that match type was really interesting.
His Intercontinental Championship feud with Ziggler a couple of years ago, when SmackDown, right after the brand split, when SmackDown was really running hard with AJ Styles as the champion, and then Dean Ambrose had the IC title, and it was right before Dean Ambrose went into the world title picture. That feud was really good too. Like that was really good for Dean Ambrose. But
yeah, I think it's good because it's just going to bump him out of that. Because he did just come back, but it felt like they were going right back to where he was before, and I think this will be a fun, like, it's almost like the Becky Lynch heel turn, where like it's what their career really needed, because Lynch was really stagnant.
No, it's heel turn for that night, but do you think this is just you think they could flip it back in the WWE fashion, that we were all upset, we're all very frustrated, let me take my anger out on Seth because we just captured these titles? You think he's just going to relinquish, or do you think it's going to be like one of those brittle brother?
I think it's one of those things where they're gonna feud with each other, but be forced to work with each other
they've done that in the past.
Because
Tag
of the
teams,
title,
yeah.
And then when they lose the belts, they're gonna go.
so like
into
Matt
big,
Hardy and MVP 2.0, great.
Yes,
Sheamus and Cesaro
just
hated each
minus
other.
the MVP bodysuit.
I'm not interested. if that one
Maybe
piece
that'll be Dean's
jumpsuiting-
new outfit. He'll do the
Scoop
one
come out in
Power
scuba
Ranger?
outfit?
Yeah,
Number one.
Stop it.
That would be good.
I love it. So yeah,
Whatever happened to it? Oh wait, I don't care.
to MVP.
Yeah.
That is your first ever new IWGP Intercontinental Champion. I'll have you. The inaugural Intercontinental Champion MVP.
So we got some comments here. It looks like, I don't know if this is true, $2 and $6 tickets for Evolution tonight. That's how low the ticket sales.
No, coming from Dusty though, that could be a lot of shade on that.
Yeah, it's
one.
probably not
I highly
accurate, but
doubt it's $2 and $6. That's processing
that's
fees for
cheap.
Ticketmaster.
I love.
Yeah, that's not even processing fees.
No,
for Ticketmaster.
that's a third of processing.
I love
fees.
Dusty, but has anybody ever told him that referring to wrestlers by their actual legal name does not make you sound smarter?
Rebecca Quinn.
Yo,
He's like, bro, I know so much about wrestling, I don't even need to use the gimmick name.
bro, you know Kobe Lopez, he's fucking great, man. Let me tell you.
Not for nothing, but Joe, when he left, I was heartbroken. Oh, forget about it. I'm sorry, Justin, I don't even know you.
Look it up, bros.
Apparently, all Smarks have a thick, like Italian, New York accent.
Yeah, all marks. Being a mark comes with a wife beater and some sweatpants.
They're all Bruno Sammartino. It's literally just.
All right, I really am going to look up and
Sand
see.
Snake.
He's saying look it up, bros. So I'm going to look it up. Let's see, Evolution tickets. Where's it coming from? Do anybody know?
He's getting sensitive. I'm sorry, Justin.
Okay.
We're just busting balls here, guy.
All right. Anyway, so
Because Roman's gone. Joe is
Joe's
forever.
still here, man. Roman's dead.
WWE.
Well, speaking of, while he's looking that up, we got another Joe that's almost on the way out. Samoa Joe is reportedly injured.
again.
Yeah.
I didn't hear that.
Can't catch a break.
He hasn't
Bless-
been on TV in
bless the knees, by the way.
Oh, is that what it is?
No, but like, I mean,
he is a little
My
older.
God.
His style is a little hard on the body.
I hear he's a stiff.
He's very stiff.
worker.
It's in New York. Oh, you got it pulled
Joe's
up
looking it
here.
up here. We got $10.
Oh my God!
The top seats, I saw that $9.70.
Oh,
Damn.
this is
$6.
$6.
Do we got time to get to New York? That'd be a great show to see for a bargain.
Well,
It's a
you
5-hour
still
drive.
Pay all that
Yeah,
gas money.
it's really not that
We
far.
could actually.
We
get
could get there.
We could get there and spend less in gas and tickets than we would to go see a show from WWE in Detroit.
Oh wow!
That's nuts.
Yo, look at those floor seats, 52.15.
You want lower bowl tickets? They're normally $300. You want to go to Evolution? $60.
Wow.
That's what it costs.
On the ramp. They
So
still
that's
have
usually
on
like
the
what
ramp
Section
left.
103
That's
would
crazy.
cost.
All right, so let's talk real quick about
Look,
Evolution.
none of the
since we're on
floors
the
sold out
subject.
besides ENF.
Well, whoever bought those tickets are effed. So
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm tired.
Evolution, guys. Where are we at on this pay-per-view?
I actually have been looking forward to it for only a couple of matches. I know we got the whole card that we're going to talk about, but
I had to look up the
NXT
card
Women's
earlier. I couldn't remember half
Championship, kind of stoked for that. Don't really care for the tag match between like Alexa Bliss and Mickie James.
Alexa Bliss is out.
Oh,
yeah,
what?
Bliss is out.
She got a concussion. She's got it replaced by Fox.
I'm sad. Well, that's why tickets are $6.
Yeah, well, because Alicia Fox needs to be in the main card. Why you have Ember Moon and all these wrestlers
Right.
working in the Rumble.
Even
They don't have a storyline. though.
even on the
fault
entire,
is that?
even on the all women's
Alicia
pay-per-view.
Fox doesn't have a storyline.
even on the all women's pay-per-view, we literally have to have a shitty gimmick battle royal just to shoehorn people into the show because they don't have any meaningful storylines for half of their women's wrestlers.
Yeah, well, it's because
This is so bad. You're working such on a snafu for them.
You're working on limited time. All right, so
then
Not
they should
really. They announced it months ago.
Yeah, they should have. They
No,
should
I'm
have
saying
planned
for
this.
storylines.
Oh, yeah.
How are you going to fit in? You know, a locker room. The main roster is for men is almost the same size as women, but who do people tune in to see? Who pays? You know, who gets the draws, right? So
I mean, I see as a wrestling fan, I see
like women.
3 actual matches on here that I am legitimately excited for because they're good matches.
I want to see the NXT one, that's for sure.
I want to see Toni Storm versus Io Shirai for the Mae Young Classic Finals.
Toni
Kairi
Storm.
Sane versus Shayna Baszler because that's awesome. And then Becky Lynch versus Charlotte.
Last
because
woman
that's
standing.
Always.
So now, is
entertaining.
that because we're indie smarks, though?
But here's the thing: if they're going to try to promote this whole like, "Hey, look at us, we're progressive and doing an all women's pay per view," the people that are going to really get behind that are the smarter quote unquote fans. Like they're the people who are like actually invested in people who use Rebecca Quinn in conversation unironically.
Shout out to you, Justin.
These are the people who are going to be excited about this event. So why not give us matches that we would actually want for it instead of like half the card being good and the rest of it being like WrestleMania 25 with like Kid Rock coming out and performing while all the divas come out and Santino Marella wins. Like this is literally just like the most ham-handed attempt at trying to say like, hey, we're progressive and we're doing really good. Look at us, we're doing good. WWE is a great company while at the same time
We have Ronda Rousey now.
Yeah, and you're putting her in your flagship women's pay-per-view. You're putting Ronda Rousey in against Nikki Bella. Like,
Do you think that's the main event? Or you think the last woman standing
that
match?
is
they
heart.
If they're smart, they should do the Charlotte Lynch as the main event.
I agree.
No,
but
they don't do that because they know that it's going to be the show stealer, so they close on
That's what I'm saying. The main event.
No, it is a main event, but they've said it before. That's the reason why like AJ Styles doesn't close the show.
Oh, yeah.
He's the show stealer. So let's get that out of the way. That's why he's always in the middle. So it's the same thing. Last woman standing for the first time ever is not going to close the show.
I just think we're missing a huge opportunity with Evolution.
Yeah.
There's so many great storylines. Look at NXT and their like women's division and how they tell storylines down there. Like, and obviously the argument of comparing NXT to main roster at this point is like null and void.
Yeah.
Because it's two separate
Two
brands.
different styles.
Even though I will say the finish to the most recent NXT is probably the most Attitude Era-esque finish I've ever seen in my entire life.
Where is he?
It was me, Alistair. It was me all along. No. Oh, son of a bitch.
I will say though that man, they turned Gargano into the best heel. I've seen a lot. His heel heat.
I love
Which
it.
is crazy because he was the most over babyface in NXT.
So where do you guys fall on that? Do you think that turning... let's punctuate Evolution, but we'll get into this.
We got to go over our picks real quick too.
Oh yeah.
Right, I was going to say let's pay some.
We're jumping all
let's pay
around.
respect to it. This is their first one, so let's cover it like we would
But
anything else,
I
which
think
has been attentive and thorough.
I think, but it shows how much hype there is for this pay-per-view that we can't even pay attention.
Yeah,
to
we're like, oh, this is more fun to talk about than the pay-per-view that's going on.
I know, but let's remain consistent.
I don't know. We were pretty excited about $6 tickets. Like,
no,
honestly, if it was in our city,
you want the $50 floor seats?
if they were in our city, I would pay
the painted
$6.
chair.
Yeah.
They still gonna get the painted chair with their $50 floor seat?
Oh yeah, the chair
That'd be
would
worth it right there.
You could turn around and sell
Like,
that
what's
chair.
the cheapest seat I can get that I get one of those free
I'm
chairs?
gonna let's go check that on eBay. Like, let's check tonight. That'd be the first chair that I have
the
ever bought. Would have
historic
been for
first ever
Evolution.
in
$3
WWE.
shipped.
Jeez.
We've got to go. Well, this has been Audio Suplex Live 52.
We're already a half hour into this thing.
All right, so let's go over the card real quick for Evolution because I do think I agree with Anthony. We have to do our due diligence, and actually, this is a pay-per-view event, and we have to do our picks. Are we going to do this consensusly like we have?
No, we don't have to do that.
No, because we'll be here all day.
All right.
Yeah, that makes it take a little longer.
Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to name out the match. You guys tell me who you're taking and why in a sentence or less.
Okay, less than a sentence.
less
Two
than-
words.
Two
We're gonna
words
do
or less. In one syllable or less.
So you say their name.
Oof. Say no more. All right, let's go. Let's start with the 2018 Mae Young Classic Tournament Final. Toni Storm versus Io Shirai. Shirai.
Is it Shira?
Toni Storm, because WWE NXT UK, and are we really going to do 2 back-to-back Japanese winners though?
I think so. I don't think
Toni Storm was great last year, and I'm really happy she
spoiler alert.
lasted.
Toni Storm's in NXT UK, and the winner of the Mae Young Classic gets a title match for the NXT Championship. So if she's in NXT UK, which actually she's in the title match,
Who says she can't be in the match and then still lose it?
why have her win the tournament if we obviously
Same
know she's
reason.
not going to win?
I kind of agree with Corey on this one. I
Kyrie
think
did.
we're going to see a program here where Io Shirai, who's known to play more of a tweener anyway, is going to win the Mae Young Classic,
I think
and that's
so.
going to set up a program with her and Kyrie Sane,
Exactly.
who already have a history with one another. And Baszler's going to the main roster.
Exactly.
ASAP.
Baszler's coming up.
You know who else is probably, I think, due for a call-up really soon that I think is going to happen is Rhea Ripley.
Yeah.
I think
Rhea-
they're really high on Rhea Ripley.
I'd like to see Nikki
Isn't
Cross
she
go up.
like the face of the UK women's division?
Kind
though?
of, yeah. She's the inaugural champion, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
Obviously,
So-
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt.
So Rhea Ripley's up there, and not to mention she's been in a Twitter feud with Becky Lynch over the last couple of days too. So
Ooh, interesting.
Rhea,
Layers. Like an onion.
I could see Rhea Ripley being in the Battle Royal and taking it to
That would be
the limit
cool.
in that. So, all right, yeah. So I'm
who you
gonna
got?
go Io Shirai over Toni Storm. Although I love Toni Storm, she's not gonna need this momentum.
Yeah, I think she's going to do her own thing in NXT.
in the UK brand.
In UK.
yeah,
Yeah, I agree with that as well.
Shirai. And are you gonna stay?
Tony.
Okay.
Tony, all right.
We're gonna go. Let's talk about Kyrie Sane since we're on the subject versus Shayna Baszler for the NXT Women's Championship.
We just talked about this kind
I'm
of
gonna
too.
go with Kyrie Sane retaining.
I agree.
I go with
Kyrie
Kyrie Sane as well because they're just going to bump Baszler up to the main roster.
She's ready.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Baszler's,
she's ready.
Baszler's going to enter some sort of program. I feel like with Ronda Rousey involved. Like Baszler's
Yeah, they're going to do an MMA kind of style thing.
Yeah.
It's going to be good.
Yeah.
That's
The Hexagon at Survivor Series.
Oh my God.
They'll borrow Impact's hexagon ring.
This is too much for me. I've got
Going down in the Pentagon.
the 6 sides of steel. Let's go.
Pentagon.
All right. Trish Stratus and Lita versus Mickie James and Alicia Fox.
Legends over because
Yeah.
feel good match.
Although, hold on. Replacement wrestlers in matches typically win the match. If you're the replacement, you typically win. That's just how.
So you see
Wrestling,
Alicia
but-
Fox.
I see this. I see this
do.
being the exception of the rule.
Yeah,
you
you're
don't.
right,
you
you're
don't
right.
put Alicia Fox over
Yeah.
two WWE Hall of Famers.
True.
No
Literally.
matter how bad the promos were.
Yeah, this is gonna be.
Aren't all three of them Hall of Famers?
Mickey's not Hall of
Mickey
Fame.
She's
James
not
is
yet.
She
but
will
she is
be.
definitely
She will.
bound.
She will be
She's
eventually.
in the like some porn Hall of Fame. I'm thinking.
Yeah, definitely.
Literally,
Oh,
Mickey
yes.
James.
Mickey Jason?
Oh, yeah.
I knew
Hardcore.
Sonny did.
Butt stuff.
Oh, I thought
Yeah.
that was Sonny.
Well, she probably did
It's a
too.
family show.
Mickey for sure did.
Lord,
It's going off the rails.
I said butt stuff. I didn't say what stuff.
bunch of smut peddlers on this podcast. Unbelievable.
This is the second time I've talked
Yeah.
about porn on this podcast.
Well,
Trish Stratus and Lita over. I'll take that one all day.
I'll take
I'll
that
take
as
that as
well.
well.
Anderson.
that was easy lock.
I'm going to go ahead and say that's the opening match.
You know what, Corey and I, just quick thing,
Yeah,
we're talking about.
traditional WWE NXT form, indie show form, open with the tag match.
Open with the tag match. Get that feel good pop for Lita and
guess.
Trish and
What Corey and I were talking about that's kind of weird, though, is they booked this thing as the old era versus the new era, and now they just have everybody from the old era. in the
Everybody
match.
that's
Yeah.
in this match was in WWE in 2008.
yeah, everybody was here in 2008 and eligible for the Divas title. At some
Right,
point. Like,
right.
I think
So it's-
isn't Alicia
It's-
Fox a former Divas?
It should have
Yeah.
been like Sasha Banks and Bailey.
That was my thing there. Like, why don't if you want to do
Because they got to take on the Riot Squad.
Yeah, if you really see, and that's my issue with this pay-per-view. If you really wanted to set up this like new generation versus the old generation, you've literally spent the past 3 to 4 years shoving Bailey and Sasha and Becky and Charlotte as that NXT four horsewomen down our throats. Like they are the future of women's wrestling, and you can't even have the wherewithal to put like, oh wow, we have 2 Hall of Famers.
It feels like they gave up with Bailey the second she got over or came over, though.
That's insane to me. Well, let's talk about that while we're at it. Sasha Banks, Bayley, and Natalya versus the Riot Squad. Who's
Riot Squad.
Riot Squad.
I'm taking Riot Squad in this one. And
Yeah.
God bless Ruby Riot. I will say this: she is doing the best that she can with
The saddlebags again.
such a bad.
Anytime we talk about her, I think of Dave Crumbly being on the show talking about her.
Now Ruby. Now Liv's actually good. Sarah's good. What it is the stuff that
they're giving them really bad.
Yeah, so they're doing really bad angles with it.
They've made them into Scooby Doo villains.
And to where only Ruby, for some odd reason, comes out looking formidable out of all of it.
Yeah,
And she's definitely turning.
Sarah
you know,
Logan is
shit to
probably the
sugar.
most forgettable character
my
on
God.
Monday nights.
We were trying to remember her name.
Yeah, it took
And
us a
because
while.
we were talking about none of them seemed like they don't seem like a cohesive gimmick.
No.
I think Liv Morgan would be good with
Ruby Riot.
Carmella.
I think
could even
Sarah
see-
Logan and Ember Moon would be good on like almost like a feral wild girl thing.
like a
because they're doing like a
family-
punk rock thing, and
Yeah.
Ruby Riot's the only one that's punk rock.
Right.
Like
Because it's her squad,
When
though.
Liv Morgan first came out, I called her Diet Carmella because she was using the same gimmick when they
She
came
really
out.
was.
Right.
You know?
Dressing the
we
same.
all agree that
Dresses-
Aaliyah
the
would
same
run
dance.
circles around all these kids, right?
Yeah, and that's why every time I see her job out on NXT, I pray.
She literally just
She's she's talented, but
she's kind of like the Drake of NXT essentially.
Yikes.
Bruh.
Curtis Hawkins.
And she's from Toronto.
yeah.
I love Kurt Hawkins.
I actually went out and found a Kurt Hawkins shirt
How-
to wear to live events because
That's great.
it blows people's minds.
You know,
bought
you know who I'm super
Oh, I
huge on
bought
right
it.
now?
Can we
get
get
more
money?
shipping.
I have a lot of
Can we get
wrestling
more
shirts.
Otis Dozovich in title matches?
I love Otis Dozovich.
Otis Dozovich for
I
North
can watch
American
him do
champion.
anything.
I can't believe they're in the video
You can't get
game.
more American than steaks and weights.
Who's with me? Okay, so real quick,
We're getting off topic again.
let's say
The historic
welcome to Audio Suplex Live.
Women's Battle Royal.
So I don't really care who wins this. They get a women's title match in some capacity at some point. I don't know. It was very vague.
Right.
With what does that mean? Is like if an NXT woman wins it, do they automatically get like a?
Is it a Money in the Bank
There
situation where they
are,
can challenge wherever?
There are
Is it-
0 NXT people announced for the match.
See, it wouldn't shock me though because I feel like with the roster they have, yeah, you have to get some main roster people in there, but this is a really good time to start getting some of those
Well, I
NXT
think, I think
names
with
in
it being
there,
a
too.
Royal Rumble, they're going to have some of those NXT surprises come out, and then
Yeah.
they'll probably throw some legends you don't see coming.
Molly Holly, Kelly Kelly, Ivory, Alundra Blaze, Michelle McCool, and Tori Wilson have been announced.
I
as-
heard Medusa was in there too.
Alundra Blaze.
Or
yeah.
I missed that part.
Same difference.
Did you watch WCW?
Did I? Yeah.
Yeah, that's why you call her Medusa.
Yeah.
Pre or post title in the trash can.
Plus, Medusa's such a better name.
I love Uncle Eric.
So, as far as this match is concerned, I think really the only
Two questions.
possible winners: Nia Jax, Asuka,
How the mighty have fallen.
Naomi, maybe because she won the one at WrestleMania.
I'm calling Asuka.
Or I think Zelina Vega would be good.
Zelina Vega would be a very
I think
good
that would
choice
be a
to
fun
take
one.
They
WWE in
never,
this one.
they don't use her enough when it comes
She's
to
so
wrestling.
good.
Yeah,
They're-
she's good, and then they just saddlebagged her with being a manager.
I don't think either her or
love
Almas are
Almas.
really suffering right now, though. I think
That's
they're,
true.
they're both like really.
But I'd like,
solid
what
with
I'm
that.
saying is, I'd like to see her in the ring more.
I think they will once they get Almas really kind of established. I think they want to get Almas established into that
I
like
still think I call him.
lower upper card.
Yeah.
Like he's not quite on the level with like a Daniel Bryan or like a AJ Styles, but he's going to be
getting there,
that
though.
one
They're working
rung
him up.
below.
He's
He's
good.
getting there, but when they do is I think when you'll see Zelina Vega.
They're working him almost like they did Elias. They're taking it kind of slow and like really getting that. They're getting that pot simmering.
I don't know if Elias is ever going to make that climb though until he shuts
Not
down
To the main title picture,
No.
I don't see it.
I think, but what I'm saying is, I think that they simmered him real good up into that mid card area, where normally someone like him would be saddled with the opening for a while.
Right. With Almas, I think they have greater aspirations though. They
Yeah.
know they have a star in their hand. They want him
Oh,
to
he's
be
got
told
a
you-
lot more ring wear to him too. He's got a lot more experience out in Mexico.
Oh yeah.
I have him winning
he's
the
a
Rumble
legacy.
next year.
Almas? Yeah, no, you've already said that. Yeah.
Almost
Which
is going to win the Rumble.
is not a crazy thought.
No.
I like that idea a lot. Or if not winning the Rumble, I always still see the Rumble as more of a traditional storytelling tech device anyway. So I still stand by like either The Miz or Daniel Bryan or winning the Rumble this year. I could see Almas winning Money in the Bank.
Ooh, that would be good.
That would be.
I would rather see him win Money in the Bank.
be Money in the
Yeah, he would be perfect with
because
Money in the Bank.
he's the perfect kind of heel for that. Too.
Oh yeah, Vega.
Where you know he's going to do something shady, and you're just waiting for that moment.
Yeah, and you can see Vega hauling around the briefcase.
Yeah, she
right
carries
now.
the briefcase.
Yeah.
walk out, hold it up while he's over there.
And you know when he cashes in, he's going to win because the last 2 years has been failed
It's
cash-in.
been so dry for Money in the Bank.
Oh my God, that Baron Corbin cash in.
Couldn't beat Jinder Mahal.
What a roasted
Really?
radish that was. All right, so let's talk about historic
Back to
women's
the
battle
pay-per-view.
royal. Yeah, back to the pay-per-view. Women's battle royal. You say Nia Jax. You say Asuka. Who do you have winning?
Just Lana. Just throwing a name out there.
Lana.
You know what? I think I'm going to go with Asuka.
I'm going to go fortune favoring the bold. I'm going to go Rhea Ripley. I already brought her up once. I think she's going to be a surprise entrant. And if not, I think she's going to make it to the Final Four because I think they're really big on her, and I could see them. My other question is...
I could see the final two being Asuka and Naomi, who are like a tag team right now.
That could be
and
kinda
they
cool.
both, one won the Rumble and one won the Battle Royal at WrestleMania. So they both have, that's kind of their thing. I can see that being the final
I
two.
can see them having a really good feud too.
They both do
I mean,
butt stuff.
they're both real solid workers. Yeah, they both back on the butt stuff.
Here we
Hey,
go.
that's their thing. They like to butt things.
Tony, I'm sorry,
Who
man.
doesn't like the butt?
Oh, Lord. Okay, so we
Corey
have...
likes butt stuff. Let's move on.
What other matches we got?
let's go...
The 2 title matches?
2 title matches, and yeah, I think that's about it.
So there's
Which one do you want to cover
Rousey
first?
and-
Rousey versus Nikki Bella.
Yeah, let's do that one.
This one's actually, I think, a little bit more open to
Rowdy.
a weird finish.
I think they're.
I think they're going to write the Bellas off TV after this.
I think
One
they're
can only
probably
hope.
gonna do some crappy with the twin magic thing.
Maybe try it, and
Maybe
it still
try
fails.
it because they are trying to book Ronda as the Superwoman.
Right, but then
So maybe they're gonna try it as heels.
She's done the double arm bar to 2 women before. Maybe that's, she gets one,
Oh yeah.
the other one
That's the
runs in to
spot.
try to
Twist
help,
them in,
grabs
yeah.
her, gets her in the arm bar. I mean,
Personally, I'm just really over the Bellas.
they're storytelling for a time period that I just don't really care to hear any
Yeah.
more stories about.
I
don't care.
Like I was talking to Corey, like I think they just outgrew their gimmicks. Even if I don't even sure Brie has one.
No, Bree's,
But, like,
Bree's gimmick is
she's a
I'm
heel on Raw and a
female
face
Daniel
on
Bryan.
SmackDown.
right.
Another
That's
yeah.
so weird to me. Like how I don't understand this like dueling dynamic of the Bellas. Like
I don't
it
get why
only-
she
it's
has
very
to use
sti-
Daniel Bryan stuff.
it's Stephanie McMahon-esque. It's very like she's a face in all the charity work they do, but she's a heel on TV.
Yeah,
So weird. I hate it.
yeah.
I don't like it.
Well, I hope Ronda Rousey wins because she's actually been very fun to watch since she's come over.
She's insane.
I think they need to get to a point really soon here with Rousey, though, that they need to show some sort of weakness. They need
Not
to
only
show
that, they need to show a little bit more of a broader moveset because there's a lot of these.
She hasn't
rolling
had to do
flips
anything
and arm
crazy.
bars.
Right. I
I'd like to see her do some
suplex.
top rope stuff.
Yeah.
I'd like to see her, just do some extra, maybe some some traditional kind of stuff too, and not just rely so heavily on the
on the MMA stuff.
MMA stuff. I know that's how they're booking her, and do the crossover. I get it, but let's show that she's more than that.
Remove that though, and remember the era that you're in, which is the reality era. And the reality era is Ronda Rousey is an MMA fighter. She's in WWE doing her thing.
Right.
So you don't put her on top ropes
So-
because that's not what she does.
My question about this with Ronda Rousey is how in kayfabe do you suggest, because they have to get the title off of her at some point.
Maybe Baszler's the woman to do that. Or Charlotte. The rumor is Charlotte versus
But
Rousey at WrestleMania next year.
That could also be.
I'd like to see that.
I would love to see that. That would be fantastic. But until then, I think we're really getting to the point now where I think we need to start showing some sort of weakness. With Rousey.
But why does Ronda have to show weakness who shows up every week, but Brock doesn't and is an MMA fighter too?
Right.
Yeah, he started in pro wrestling,
You have a
and he
point.
has amateur background too. But why does Ronda have to show a weakness and can't be built as Superwoman? And she shows up every week.
They've done weaknesses with Lesnar. He had that match that lasted less than a minute with.
Goldberg, yeah.
Yeah, but and that can happen, but let that be the shock. And Goldberg was a shock. You didn't see
So who-
weakness
who
still
would
in
be the-
Lesnar.
who would be the
it just so
shock?
happened to be there.
So would Baszler be the shock that Rousey
Nikki
would
Cross.
need?
She's insane.
I love it.
Yeah, like,
Nikki
and then
Cross.
I
you
love
got
Nikki
the
Cross.
four
She's
so
horsewomen
over
doing
with
their
it.
thing
Yeah,
too. So
right.
why
I'm glad they didn't bring her over Sanity because
They
pretty
obviously
much-
didn't do anything with Sanity.
They're
So.
sideline Insanity, and I'm glad that she's not getting stuck in that. 'Cause
Yeah.
she's a fun worker to watch.
She's been a blast on NXT TV lately
Yeah.
too, just like being like a thorn in the side of William Regal, and yeah, he's good.
She has a secret.
I'm going to stick with Rousey on this one, but I do think that we're getting to the point here really soon where we need to start thinking, where is this Ronda Rousey experience going to take us? I think Baszler would be a good choice for that. Like, could possibly put a dent in the armor.
I think if they're going to try to strip her title with some sort of BS situation, that today may be the day for it, just because Brie has nothing. She's going to be with Nikki, and they may be able to pull some stupid.
What about some sort of like?
You got to do a corporate thing. You got to do maybe a Ronda Rousey versus the system.
Stephanie,
because she has that that history with Steph.
I
Then
thought
you
that's how they
got
were gonna
how
go
the
with it
Bellas
for
are
her.
corporate and that they're in the pockets and they make
Yeah.
TV shows and stuff like that. I think that could work.
I think that could
But-
very much
Almost
work.
like they did with Rollins or KO when they handed him the belt for corporate interest.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you do that with Stephanie
Yeah.
on the flagship show the flagship pay-per-view, the first one, and Stephanie's the face of it. Hey, I built this thing, and it's going to go my way.
Yeah, we want Nikki to.
That would bring some monster heel heat to the Bellas.
And then it would definitely make Ronda the chaser again, because we liked the idea of, like, when Ronda was fresh, we're like, oh, that'd be kind of cool if she became women's champion.
Yeah.
Now it's like, oh, we got
could
it.
see a
Now it's taken from her.
full-on-
Now we would get like a whole new Roman
Yeah.
push where we enjoy the chase, but not so much her actually having the title.
I kind of like this idea. So
I'm still saying Rousey's walking.
No,
away.
yeah, we're still saying Rousey, but
I'm saying Rousey would probably take it, but if they do a thing where they're going to strip her with some sort of BS, today is a good setup for it because there's
Yeah.
an extra woman involved that has no match
Right.
anywhere else on the card.
you could bring Brie into it, you can bring Stephanie into it, and then you can really kind of stack the cards against Rousey. Maybe even set up for like a Survivor Series Rousey and Baszler versus the Bellas. Or
right,
something like that.
WWE, you could use our ideas. Just throw
That's not
us
a
a
bad
retweet,
idea.
dog.
Rousey's like, you know what? I got somebody to help me up. I got some backup too, and then
Right.
Baszler comes
Baszler
out. That would
comes
be
out, and
interesting.
Eventually, Baszler's
Nice.
Rousey, and then
Let's talk about our last match. We're running out of time. I don't know how much time we're gonna have to
Becky-
devote to Crown Jewel.
Becky Lynch versus Charlotte Flair, last woman standing for the SmackDown Women's Championship.
Becky Lynch.
Becky Lynch.
I'm taking Becky. Becky Balboa.
I am loving.
She's a
heel
fighter.
Becky.
I
She's
hope-
an
I hope
Irish
she
last
wins.
kicker.
She was
Last
so
woman-
boring as a face,
Oh,
She's
yeah.
killing it.
and she is killing it.
She
in heel.
just did a Reddit AMA, incredibly popular.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Nice.
going nuts.
I saw she did like another thing online. It was like one of these where they have wrestlers on as guests, and they do like fun things like they play games and stuff. And she just would not even participate. She was like total character the whole time,
That's
and
awesome.
it was just so fun
That's
to watch.
awesome. Yeah, she's too much momentum right now.
They were like, "Well, why aren't you paying attention, or why aren't you help or get involved in this?" She just slapped her belt on the table. She's like, "Because the champ does what she wants." And then she walked out of the studio. I was like, "All right."
I'm with it. I'm with it. Plus, Charlotte could really use some time to kind of like. They need to pull back on Charlotte's push.
It feels like she's always got.
She like a 9-time champion already?
9-time
or something?
champion at this point.
She's
Something
been in for a few
ridiculous?
years.
We need to pull back on Charlotte a little bit. And Charlotte, you can easily insert her into the main event at some point down the road. I think we need to distance
Not that
them
she
after
doesn't
the.
deserve it.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. She's fantastic. She is hands down,
Wonderful
in my
worker.
opinion, the best women's wrestler on the planet today.
Yeah, that's going today most likely.
Yeah, she's hands down the best. Like her moveset is an amazing
Quality.
She's-
Yeah.
She has a flair for the.
pedigree.
Yeah, she's pedigree. I mean, it's face it. There's
That, and I loved that I got to see Ric Flair in person because
Yeah.
we used to accompany a ring, and that's when I started going to the live events. I was like, "Oh my God, there's Ric Flair."
that's awesome.
He's right there.
literally,
the Nature Boy is right
I
there.
can see
that's
it.
literally Ric Flair.
Like I would never thought I'd see Ric Flair in person in
Yeah.
my life.
So I'm going to take Becky on this one too. I think Becky, too much momentum right now. Charlotte will be fine. She's
I'd
not
like
gonna,
to see him to drag this feud out a while.
to Mania maybe.
Well,
or,
it's a last woman standing, meaning this match could end with both women not being able to get the count of 10.
That's true.
I mean, if NXT was that Chicago, the last one, is any indicator, Gargano and Ciampa, I mean, they went at it forever, and they were brothers, and not a tag team. But that one.
Sometimes it makes the best feud get you used to working together.
Yeah, because he
For sure.
he won. So you usually when you see like the handcuffs be busted out, like there's the end of it, or someone flips the table, there's the end of it.
Right.
No, like Ciampa won handcuffed to the LED
He had
board.
those handcuffs for like 15 minutes. He was wrestling with handcuffs on.
I needed a Gatorade after that match. That
was
match
a
was
war.
a marathon.
It was a
like
barbarian.
I needed like.
And I don't know if that's what we're going to get today, but
I wouldn't be surprised if we got something close to.
yeah.
Let's hope.
Be intense.
I'm
so.
excited about that.
I'm excited. I'm excited to see Evolution. I think that there's some good matches on the card, and shock me, surprise me. Like, give me something cool with this battle royal.
I hope to get some surprises with that battle royal, like some stuff I don't see coming. Because you watch wrestling long enough, you can start picking who's coming up, who's on the push, who's going to disappear for a while.
I want to see an NXT no name, so to speak. Someone like a Rhea Ripley would be really good for that Final Four, that battle royal.
How many times you say
I'm all in on her right now.
What was her name again?
Do you remember?
She's female Pete Dunne.
Do you remember
for us?
Yeah,
she's female Pete
Do you
Dunne.
remember
She's fantastic.
Do you remember a couple months ago, like probably about a year or two ago, when I started going all in on this guy called Velveteen Dream? Do you remember when I started pushing all my chips into that purple, like put it all in purple? I was like, this is my new Velveteen Dream. Rhea Ripley is an ass kicker, and she is going to tear up the UK division, and she's going to be fantastic. If they put her on this show, she's going to shine like a diamond. It's going to be great.
Yep.
Shine bright like a diamond.
Yeah, so speaking of shining bright, Crown Jewel.
So I'm looking at this card. I don't really think there's that much to even really talk about.
Because there isn't much of an actual card.
There's
yet.
5 matches on here. Well, World Cup, I guess, is multiple matches. But Brock versus Strowman, I think we can all agree Strowman's going to win.
I really
that.
hope Strowman wins
so.
it. If they give Brock that title again,
Yeah,
Make
we'll
no
be
sense. Then AJ versus Dan Bryan. Rumor is Dan Bryan's not going to be there, so that match probably is not going to happen. You got DX versus the Brothers of Destruction.
Brothers over.
Who cares who wins, I guess? I mean, unless somebody's retiring after this match, which they all should be retired anyways.
Which I think they all have at one point or another. I mean, The Undertaker, retired like
My biggest
recently?
I feel like this is just WWE like GM mode.
The thing is, though, like the Saudi, the people who bring in the money for the Saudi shows really want that attitude.
They love
Yeah, they
80s
want
and
the
90s wrestling.
That's what this is. It's a legacy.
And it sucks for all of us because
Yeah.
we're like, I get it. They want to go chase that almighty dollar that's down there. But at the same time, like, I really like the idea of Shawn Michaels retiring at Mania. Like,
Yeah.
leave it. Just
Although
leave it.
when they were teasing last
Michaels looks
year,
stiff.
It's so
Shawn Michaels versus AJ at the Rumble this past year, they were kind of teasing that might be a thing. I wanted to see it. Like, honestly, I thought that would
I would
'Cause
like to
it's
see.
fantasy.
I would like
But-
to see in his prime
Yeah, well,
when
I would
he was
like
a
to see-
young man.
Give me Michaels
his
2000.
prime when he was his prime was his second run when he was
Yeah,
older.
I don't
That's
want
what
to
I'm
see
saying, when he was
stocking
younger.
cap Shawn
I
Michaels.
was like, give me Shawn Michaels 2002
Two when he first came back.
Give me like 2002 Shawn Michaels versus like 2017 AJ Styles.
Not do-rag under a cowboy hat, Shawn Michaels?
No.
Not
Bald
leukemia
ass
survivor, Shawn Michaels.
No, I'm cool on that.
Yeah, we're cool on all of this.
Triple H is probably the best in the ring out of the 4 of them still.
Yeah. He can still.
He's
go.
the one that can still go. Yeah,
Kane's been standing in the Undertaker position
I think Kane's better than Undertaker.
Kane's
as far as,
been sitting in the
quality.
Big Show position for so many years now that I don't even know what to make of him. He's literally just like, oh, you need to have somebody come out and beat Finn Balor for no reason? Cool. Like, let's just
There I am. Yeah.
just wheel out Kane, I guess. Like, whatever.
Speaking of
I'll go
Big
back to my
Show,
mayor office.
Big Show has joined the bar.
Yeah.
Is that officially joined? Is he a part of
He
the
is.
bar?
Until I see that thumb
is.
sideways.
Well, they do the thumb, and he does like the hand pose, and then they do the bar
This
in
means
front
that
of him.
the big
their
bar.
entrance is going to get even more elaborate.
Yeah.
The stable.
It's a
There's already like
big
10 moves to the entrance of the bar.
Well, did you
There's
watch-
the back to back and then under the
It's
arm.
gonna
Did you watch
start.
SmackDown? They did their music is Cesaro's music,
That-
then
yeah.
Sheamus's, and then Big
Big
Show's. They play all 3 of their music in one, and they come out one at a time.
I hate that. I hate that so much.
What, just
Yeah.
music?
I just hate the fact that like that's
Or
a
that
new
they pile
thing.
music.
Like that they pile music together now. Like
I was
like
hoping they-
Ziggler and McIntyre is another
Yeah.
example of like this just doesn't work.
They have done it
I
in the
don't get what is
past.
up with that tag team.
It's
It's ending
It
soon
doesn't.
anyways.
It doesn't.
I
Makes
think Drew
sense.
McIntyre actually be inserted into the and
I
still
think
make
Drew-
it a triple threat match.
I think Drew will be Braun Strowman's first feud.
Yeah.
Obviously, because he's monster hunting. He obviously is not afraid of Braun. That's a great storyline that they're telling right there.
That close Claymore kicks.
Claymore.
Oh, those are so good.
That's
He
I like
hits
that matchup
Strowman
visually.
so hard with those.
Visually,
the
that
Claymore
matchup
zigzag is
is
awesome. That combo match.
I like
really
that.
Yeah,
good.
I like that.
The Claymore zigzag is pretty.
It's
cool.
good.
So Crown Jewel, oh god, it's such a problematic situation for them though. It's like
I mean, you could do it without getting so socio-political.
Yeah,
but
we could do it without getting into the politics.
Right,
Everyone
right,
knows
right,
what's
right,
going
right,
on
but
in
it's
Saudi
like-
Arabia right now and why this is a sticky situation. For
it's just like
everyone
this
involved.
feels like such like the worst thing to happen to WWE at like the worst time.
So I actually own stock in WWE, and
course.
yeah, I do. And I was actually going to sell my stock.
This evolution's hitting you hard, then, huh?
It's dropping, and I'm afraid to like look. But I bought it about a year ago at it was like $38 a share when I bought it, and it got all the way up to $100.
Should have sold then.
How many shares did you buy?
2. But I was making some money.
200.
Yeah. So I was making some money, and I was gonna sell. I was thinking about it, and then I didn't because I saw what's the guy's name? Dunn? Not Pete. What's the guy?
Kevin Dunn.
Kevin Dunn. Kevin Dunn sold $8 million worth of stocks. I was like, oh, maybe he knows something I don't know. And obviously, he didn't know this was going to happen. But stocks have been going down a lot lately.
so my time to get in.
So yeah, wait a little longer when it gets down. Maybe buy some stock.
Get some of them penny stocks, like
But,
Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah, I'm gonna get some like real bottom.
I'm gonna Wolf of Wall Street the shit out of this thing.
Yeah, it's dropped about $30.
It's
That's
not.
How much is
it's-
it? How much? What's it at right now?
$69.
Oh god.
$69 a share.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was at 100.
Should have sold, man.
I know.
Should have sold.
So,
But hopefully, if it goes back down to like $15 a share,
I don't think it'll go.
I'll
that
buy a
low.
couple.
I'll buy a couple.
I don't think it'll go down.
That's a
that
network,
low.
you know.
That's one of those things where that's like money I could afford to lose at $15 a share. You know?
Fuck
if
it.
they somehow could pull it back up. then
Well,
I'll sell.
once SmackDown goes to Fox, I think their stock's going to go right back
It's
up.
gonna go-
I mean, that's a
it's
lot of
actually-
money. That the billions of dollars, I think,
Especially
$5
if they
billion
put
or
DC
something.
on the
They-
commentary.
$5 billion.
They paid so much money for SmackDown; it's insane.
It's dumb money.
So I think stock will go back up then. But
Yeah, but they're-
So Audio Suplex Live, where you could get porn jokes, stock tips. We're so well
we
rounded.
fantasy booked a
We're like
late
a
night
smooth
crime
sphere.
drama.
yeah,
Night Lawyers.
We just came. We greenlit a show today.
Chris the Night Loiter Esquire.
this has been by far one of the most weird journeys of an episode I've ever been on. This is
So this is normal for me on my podcast. We get real weird on mine.
Would you say it's an evolution?
Joe, producer Joe.
Open the window. That one was stale.
Oh, jeez.
This is so bad.
So yeah, I guess that
No, this is fantastic, guys. This is a good time.
that was exciting.
Yeah.
Crown Jewel, really not much. We didn't talk about the World Cup. I mean,
Maybe we could
how
do
you
something
book
next
that?
week with it. Like let
Well,
them.
it happens on Friday.
Is it
So
this Friday?
It's this upcoming Friday.
Oh well.
Corey will be on next Sunday by himself, giving his rundown
Post-show
rundown thoughts of Crown
my
Jewel.
His Post Malone
my
show
Post
rundown.
Malone rundown.
We didn't even talk about this on the actual show. So Corey, do you want to
Take them sunglasses
take
off?
I
them
don't
up a
think
little
that's
bit?
my gimmick.
Turn your head to the side. A
Well,
little bit
we're
there.
talking about reality
you can
era.
see.
You're like the drummer in that old movie, The Thing You Do.
Yeah,
Shades.
There
He
it
doesn't
is.
take his shades off.
yeah. There it is. Post Malone.
I still got my under eye tattoos on.
Yeah.
The forehead ones rubbed off.
Yeah, he
I
lost.
was
his
real
crown of
sweaty
thorns.
last night.
You should have still wore the grill.
I have it. Well, not with me,
You
but
should
I
pop
I
that
do
sucker
still
in.
have
It would
it.
have really lit them shades of yours.
It makes me talk funny, so
Jesus Christ.
it's hard to drink beer. I was drinking beer with it in my mouth last night.
You
I'm
don't
like,
need
man,
to
this is
talk
really-
on a podcast.
I don't have to.
Who needs to talk on a podcast?
Unbelievable. So yeah. So
ASMR.
so what do we got going? Oh, Jesus. What do we got going on?
We got
Survivor
Friday
Series.
You got
Friday Night Fights.
Yeah, you got Friday Night Fights with NOW.
Northwest Ohio Wrestling every Friday night.
I've been actually seeing the clips of that, and I'm sad that I've been not having time on Fridays. I should in the next couple of weeks, but like those are good, just as good
really
as the monthly shows.
It's really good. So I went to this past Friday show. Normally we're backstage, we're filming, we know the ins and outs. I was there as a fan on Friday, so I didn't know any of the matches I didn't know who was there. I didn't go back and talk to any of the wrestlers, so I kind of just viewed it as a fan, and it was awesome. Like the matches were great. not knowing the outcomes of any of the matches or any of that stuff or any of the storylines they're going into. It was really fun. So I had a really good time this past Friday. And there's another show next Friday. I think that's November 2nd.
So if you guys miss us, you guys miss NOW because you can only, it's usually the first Saturday of every month, and we were missing out on those like every Friday. You
Pretty
got a
much every
chance
Friday,
to.
yeah.
And the new building is coming together beautifully.
Oh,
the new
yeah.
set looks
They-
amazing.
Fantastic. The Believe Center was a solid place to have it. A lot of room, good light. You could see everything. But, oh, man, the Jump
It feels
Boost
like-
Gaming Warehouse is like an actual – it's got a vibe.
And shouts out to the naming rights going to Jump Boost Gaming, by the way. I know there was a heavy bidding war to get the naming rights of the stadium.
Yeah, we
for
tried.
NOW. I know Gillette was involved at one point.
Well, we tried
Fifth Third had their hand in the pot a little bit. I know they were looking at Fifth Third Wrestling Warehouse as one of their many things. Apple was in on this. They wanted to have like the Steve Jobs wrestling.
I heard Apple dropped out early because they
Yeah.
knew that they couldn't compete with
But
some of the other
for
options.
Jump
They didn't
Boost
have the funds.
Gaming to get those prestigious naming rights to the NOW warehouse, fantastic. So shouts out to them. Congratulations.
I think we should start feuding with Jump Boost Gaming and
Match me. I suck
Well,
at
don't do
video
it,
games.
don't do
so.
it just yet because they're also trying to do again in Jump Boost. I guess they're doing some video game tournaments. Like
Today.
today was like
Yeah.
Madden.
Today. They're doing
Madden's
Madden
going on
and,
right now. They got a
2K19.
wrestling one going on at 5:00, I believe, is the 2K19
But
one.
then,
So.
but then I got if you go and check their Facebook posts, there is a belt that has an Audio Suplex Live logo right there on the big plate in the middle. So while we don't have our name or anything on the building,
We're there.
we're on the gold.
We're there.
We're on the gold.
We're there.
We are the gold.
We're the gold standard.
Shelton Benjamin?
We're the Shelton Benjamin of podcasts.
Well,
Ow.
I don't know what that. I don't know how to take that. Yeah, there's good and bad that you can be.
Yeah, it's
assumed
kind of like
from
being
there.
like the Cisco of modern music. It's just
Oh,
Non-existent?
yeah,
People have heard of you, but
yeah. People have heard it. Like people remember the Baja Men. Like it is nobody.
no one really figured out who let those dogs out.
Yeah,
did they do any other songs other than that?
No, they just redid a cover of it recently, though.
You bought their album and it was 19 tracks, one song.
The tempo's different.
Some
each track.
some say it was an ambitious. Like I've heard like
It's more of a Where's Carmen San Diego thing that they never really figured out.
it's kind of like the pop music equivalent of like Sleep's what's the name of that record? That
Dope
like,
Smoker?
Dope Smoker. It's one giant
long
song.
endless. That's a song I play on internet jukeboxes to be a dick when I hate what people are playing because for one play you get a 49-minute song.
Yes, it's like a
And,
49-minute just sludge
vocals
metal.
don't come in till 20 minutes into it.
Oh my gosh! Why would they put that on a jukebox?
That's
it's
fantastic.
Troll.
Well, it's an internet jukebox, so they just have what's
Anything.
available. Yeah,
Oh
so
my
and that album was
God.
put out as one song.
Yeah, it's just literally one whole.
Well, the
song.
Jerusalem edition version of
Put
it.
it on twice.
Jesus.
I used to do that with Between the Buried and Me too, because they had like 20-minute songs.
Mm-hmm.
Someone play like a bunch of Celine Dion. I'd be like, all right, here you go.
Here you go.
we
And
have
they'd be like,
anything
"What are
going
they
on?
screaming
Do we have any
about?"
what?
Do we have anything going on? Are we doing anything at the
We
studio?
got the
for-
Survivor Series.
Survivor Series.
Which is
Started a
end
new
of
job.
November.
Oh, I know what I said. What we have going on. I know what you've got going on. I got a new job. Great.
Survivor Series that's going on at the Beer Stube. Do we know the date for that
it's
yet?
the end of November sometime, or
Yeah.
middle of November. We will have it. I'm trying to get us on the big side with the big screen for
it's one of the
that
big
show.
four.
Right. But we will definitely be back in the big room for
WrestleMania and Royal Rumble.
the
will be
Royal
in
Rumble,
big
which is
room.
the one I love. Survivor Series, great pay per view, but I'm ready for the Royal Rumble.
It's,
in the big room.
Survivor
It's-
Series is about the flat line. It's fighting for survival itself. It's not really been that great the past couple of years.
I've always liked
Last year
it,
was
but-
weird, man.
I don't
The
even
whole
remember
Under
last.
Siege thing. Under Siege.
Yeah, and
They
I
did that
didn't
Raw versus
realize
Raw,
that.
SmackDown, and Triple H
Oh,
won
yeah, that was weird.
for
And-
Raw.
And to
No, I
reel
do
it back
Bobby
to how,
Roode and Triple H in the ring at the same time.
and to reel it back to how we
Man,
started
used to suck
this
with Bobby
show.
Roode.
Yeah, that's weird. Oh my God, Bobby Roode used to be something.
Did
Yeah,
you
the best entrance
realize
of the game?
that last year was when we lost Roman Reigns to him being sick too, and now actually a whole year later, almost to the date, he's out again.
Yeah.
Oh, when he got the mumps or whatever it was.
Yeah,
Well, but that's
yeah.
when the whole roster got sick too, because that was right before
Wyatt.
Because that was when Kurt Angle came in with like
with the
Dad of the
Shield.
Shield.
What
yeah.
pay per view
What
was
pay per view was
That was Survivor Series.
No, it wasn't Survivor
No,
Series. It was
TLC.
TLC,
which
Yeah.
is December.
and that's where we also got Styles versus Balor, which is a super good match. But because of the swerves
And then
that they had
Balor
around
lost the
Survivor
next night
Series, we
to
also
Kane.
got Lesnar versus Styles too, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Survivor Series match.
That's true.
Yeah.
Because it was going to be Jinder versus Brock.
it was a weird
and they're
time
like, we
now.
can't
It was a weird
advertise
time now.
this.
No,
We can't advertise champion versus champion when it's Jinder versus Brock.
Yeah, so we have Survivor Series coming up at the Beer Stube end of November. Keep your eyes peeled on Facebook for updates on that. We'll have trivia, all the good stuff. Hopefully in the big room. I know Corey said
I'm
we're
going to
working
try
on it.
to. Yeah, they recently switched up the way they do open jams, so I'm going to see about getting us the big room.
Cool.
But yeah.
Cool.
All right. Any other plans this week, guys? Anything personal?
If you guys don't mind if I do a quick plug to my podcast.
By all
Of
means.
course.
So, if you guys are into really crappy movies, I have a podcast called The Campfire. You can find us on YouTube. Camp and fire is two separate words, like we're roasting camp movies. My filmmaker friend Stephen Biggin and I take on really crappy horror movies. It's a visual style podcast. We have a green screen, so we talk about what we're talking about is also being projected behind us. So if you want to find us, we're on YouTube and iTunes. So keep an eye out for that.
Is it video on iTunes or?
No, it's just audio on
Okay.
iTunes, and the video
guess.
is on YouTube.
Yeah, we're on Facebook Live and YouTube.
And we have a Facebook page too.
Yeah. Cool. Well, some of the movies you guys have broken down. Anything else?
Our most recent one was Blood Diner.
Okay.
We've done Frankenhooker.
All right, yeah, campy.
Yeah, you guys are going deep. into
Life
the
Force.
Is each episode just one movie you
One
break
movie.
down for the whole for the whole
One movie.
episode?
We pick
Okay.
a movie. We watch it beforehand, and then we break it down. Talk about who made it, what year it was made, budget.
It's kind of like how we used
and
to
then
do.
we make fun of them.
We did
old-
See No Evil with on ASL once before.
It's
the
kind of like
Kane
how we
movie?
did.
Yeah, it was actually about a year ago today. We was like, let's
You
do
didn't do part
Halloween.
2, did you?
No, we didn't.
There was a part two.
I watched part
Oh yeah,
two.
there's a part 2. it came out like
gross.
4 years.
It's
ago.
actually not.
Oh, it's horrible. What are you talking about?
I mean, it's not so.
I did hear. I
It's
do
not so
remember
bad.
it.
Yeah,
He like comes back to life, and then
yeah, like he comes back from the dead, and
I've seen it. I can't even remember. I just remember the end of the movie.
It literally.
they had him in a weird plastic mask that almost looks like the ones that Cody Rhodes
Oh
wore
yeah,
when his
yeah,
nose is
yeah,
injured.
yeah. I don't know.
All right.
It wasn't that bad, but I'm a big Kane fan, so
Yeah. Are you excited about him coming back, Crown Jewel?
Kane?
Yeah.
No.
I'm a big fan. You excited about him? Nah.
No.
No, because I am a big fan.
Right,
I am not
right,
excited.
right.
I respect you enough to dislike what you're doing right now.
Right.
I am a friend that will actually tell you and when you're doing something wrong and
Dude,
hold
you're
you
doing
accountable.
something really dumb right now.
Right.
Joe. Yeah.
Right. So
All right.
All right. I'm sharing
despise you
a
because I'm
link
a
to
fan.
your podcast on our page.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, this has
That way,
been
it'll be easier for them to find.
ASL
that.
52.
ASL 52.
All right. Who's excited for Evolution? You guys are terrible.
No, the pay-per-view is terrible.
Oh, Jesus, Joe. Get us
Obviously, nobody is if you get front row seats for $60.
$6 to go. Oh,
$6 to go
$2.50,
see it.
Miss
$6 to go get decent seats.
They might as well start-
$60 to get front row.
Dude, it's $10 to get a seat into a movie. I paid $10 to see Venom a couple weeks ago.
I've paid more
How was
to
it?
go to a local indie show in a high school gym with guys that are
$10
backyarders.
to get into NOW.
Yeah.
Okay. It's $6 to go see Evolution. So that's where we're going to end that.
pay-per-view by
That's
the
where we're
world's
gonna end
biggest
this.
company.
It's $10 to see an NOW show at any time. So that's Fridays or the first Saturday of every month. $10 there, $6 for Evolution. That's a sign of the times. Which one's the better
I've
show?
spent more money for dinner than I have for a floor-seated Evolution. This is insane.
Oh yeah,
The
I
Taco Bell I just had for lunch was more expensive.
Yeah,
than
it was.
a bottle of mead is more than yes. Let's just headbutt our microphones as we get the hell up out of here.
Get us out of here, Joe. This has been painful.
Thanks for listening.
Have a good one, guys.
Bye.
Hey, this is Joe, producer of Audio Suplex Live. We'd like to give a shout out to the band Wax for intro and outro music. Make sure you check them out at the link below.
You've been listening to the Nerd Complex Podcast Network.